Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Thursday, June 26th meeting of the Planning Commission here in Loganville. Thank you for showing up and joining us tonight. We could ask you to stand for the invocation and the pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for watching over us and bringing us to this place. We pray for your leadership and guidance as we talk about the city business. Give us the wisdom that we need as the commission and also with the city council as well. We thank you for this time and thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Have a seat. All right. Has each of the commission had a chance to look over the minutes from our last meeting? Do we need to make any changes, additions, or deletions? All right, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Got two motions? Got a second?
Second.
Got a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you so much. All right. All right, Robbie, did you want to go ahead?
Will you go ahead and introduce the cases first?
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and introduce the four cases we have tonight. They're four separate, but they're all for the same project. So what I'm going to do is read them all in, and then we'll take it from there. And then when it comes time to vote, they'll be voted on each individual. Our first case tonight is A25-016, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, requests annexation of the property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia 30052. Map and parcel here is C04700003 and map and parcel C04700003 A00, Walton County, Georgia, 26.883 acres plus or minus. Our second case will be R25015. Again, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP filed an application to rezone 26.883 acres plus or minus located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia 30052. Map and parcel C047003 and map and parcel C047003 A00, Walton County, Georgia. The property owner is CTX Funding SPE LLC. The current zoning here is A1. The requested zoning is RM4 with the proposed development of single-family detached residential neighborhood. Our third case is V25013. The Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, requests a major variance for the property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia 30052. Map and parcel C047003 and map and parcel C047003 A00, Walton County, Georgia. Present zoning is A1. Ordinance section from which the relief is sought is zoning ordinance 119-221 sub B sub 2. Request for variance to allow single-family detached units in RM4 zoning on parcels more than 2,640 feet from the center line of Main Street and Covington Street here in downtown. The fourth case is V25014. The Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, request a major variance for the property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville 30052. Map and parcel C047003 and map and parcel C047003 A00, Walton County, Georgia. Present zoning is A1. The ordinance and section from which relief is being sought is zoning ordinance 119-221 sub B sub 2 sub E. Request for variance to allow front entry garages in RM4 zoning. All right. Tiffany?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to recuse myself from hearing these cases. I own a property in close proximity to this property.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to state for the record, and I will update the staff analysis accordingly, but This property is currently served by, has a water service provided by Walton County. Should it be approved, an agreement would need to be put in place so that the city of Loganville is the provider of both water and sewer, as the city will not provide only sewer to the property.
Okay, so would it be like more of an IGA or something like that?
Yeah, typically we work that out with the county.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, at this time, I'd ask the applicant if he would like to come up and say a few words. We'll give 10 minutes for each group, and we'll be keeping time.
We've got a small presentation, and I'll wait for him to pull up here. Excellent. Neville Allison, the managing partner of the Revive Land Group, 3500 Lennox Road, Suite 625, 30326. It's my privilege to be here before you this evening. It's good to see everybody again. As you know, we're familiar with the process and familiar with Loganville. Appreciate the concerned citizens coming out to voice their concerns and kind of hear our presentation and what we've got going. Just right off the bat, we are not planning a high-density townhome or apartment development here. This is an age-restricted senior development with all ranch homes that I think I'm going to go through some reasons why Loganville really needs. So I'm going to back up a little bit for those of you that didn't hear some of the 2026 Loganville budget presentation. There was a lot of talk about the declining revenues of the city, specifically their fee income, from water and sewer tap fees, building fees, and could you center that one back? I'm sorry, it just rolled down a little bit. Yeah, there we go, perfect. You can see in 2022, the city had approximately $700,000 in fees coming from building permits and sewer tap fees, and that has dwindled down to $257,000 in 2024. That may not seem like a big deal, but for a city with essentially an operating budget of $17 million in the general fund, it's pretty significant. And what that did was drop Loganville's debt covenants down below their required threshold, where past years had been dancing between 3 and 2 times debt coverage. It dropped down to 1. What that does is it could reduce the rating of Loganville's bonds, going from a AA bond to something lower. There was discussion during the budget hearing of, well, what's that mean? It means that Loganville would have to borrow money at a higher interest rate. Currently, it's got about $17 million in debt, and it's at the bottom of this slide too, thank you. And at a 2% rate, that's $350,000 a year in interest. If that was to go up to 4%, that's $700,000. That's an increase of $350,000. Again, where you have revenues going down and expenses going up, that's a problem for a city. And this is clearly happening, and as your city manager mentioned, from a lack of building, a lack of permitting. And it starts as a funnel. As you guys know, when cases come in to be zoned, that's the top of the funnel. When they're approved, that's the next stage, and then you get to the building permits where the fees come in for the city. And when you shorten that top of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel, that bottom bucket, obviously gets smaller, and that's evident in your data. Let's see. While that's all going on from a fee standpoint, you have to ask yourself, well, why is that? Why has the building in Loganville slowed? And the answer is Loganville has been slowly chipping away at their zoning code. You can see there's only started with 6 residential categories, 2 of which have been completely taken off the table. They're listed as inactive, so they are no longer viable zoning categories for Loganville. And then the third category of RM6, the last 6 cases that have come before City Council have been denied. So that leaves you with 3 categories: R44, which are acre lots, R22, which are half-acre lots, it's 22,000 square feet, and an RM4, which is the category we're here before you this evening. So this isn't an example of a developer trying to cram as much density in as possible. It's We're trying to take the existing code of Loganville and make something work with it. There is no senior housing category in Loganville. And so what we're doing is creating one. It's been done in the past with special use permits, and we're proposing doing it now with both a zoning condition regulating the subdivision to seniors, as well as a mandated HOA covenant that does the same. Let's see, there's been a lot of discussion over the RM4 that, oh, this isn't a allowed category because we're further than 2,600 feet from downtown. You know, variances are requested and granted all the time. This is a very simple, straightforward variance. It's 2,600 feet, and we're asking for a variance for that distance. It's, you know, there's all sorts of conversation about it's not appropriate. Well, since that restriction was put on RM4, 0 RM4 cases have been approved by the city council. And I think we're the only ones that have tried to bring one through. To that point, we would be happy to attach our product on this project or others, but we've heard consistently from citizens as well as Planning Commission members and Board of Commissioner members that they prefer a detached product. So, but I wanted to show you here, there's ways to attach a single-family home. Here are a couple examples where they're attached by, the one on the left is in northern Alpharetta approaching Cumming, where they're attached with stone walls with a gate in the middle. And then the other is here in Lawrenceville, where they've attached the single-family homes with a shed. If that became, you know, a sticking point for the council, we would totally be open to this solution. But again, we believe, and I think you agree, that single-family detached is, one, more appropriate for this area, and two, a more desirable product. This is just a little background on housing demand and how, you know, where we got. In the 2000s, baby boomers were the main buyer, move up with families. You can see the barbell weight in the middle there. And then now, in today's market, you've heard me say this before, the barbells have shifted to first-time home buyers and retirees. And so that's what we're focusing on the right side of the barbell here today. In your comprehensive plan, it speaks to Loganville having an aging population. I think that's evident in every meeting I'm at and driving around Loganville. You can see that there are a lot of you know, what I would call baby boomers or 55 and up or seniors. And meanwhile, while those baby boomers have aged into the 55 to 65 to 70-year-old category, the last age-restricted deal that the city of Loganville approved was in 2002. That was 23 years ago. That is a problem. This is evident in the total listings in Loganville. We've got 558 total listings with only 138 being ranches. Of those ranches, those are not necessarily ADA accessible, zero entry, wide doorways, et cetera. And that's what we're proposing here. So I think I bring that up because if you could search ADA compliant homes in Loganville, that number would be far less than 138. This is an aerial of our site. We've got 28 acres and some change. We're requesting 50-foot minimum lot width under RM4. Obviously, the RM4 lots could be significantly smaller. We've actually sized our lots to match the existing senior deals in Loganville, Bay Creek Commons and Mockingbird Hill. I've got an aerial here of both of those deals where Bay Creek Commons is 5,200 square foot lots, and Mockingbird Hill is the same. One thing to note about both of these communities, neither have an active amenity area. You can see there is some open space and what I would consider passive amenities. One of the advantages of having an age-restricted deal that's planned with a master developer is we have a very robust active amenity area that is an ADA compliant cabana. We have a dog park that could also be swapped out for pickleball courts and walking trails throughout. Again, just a very senior-oriented amenity package. Some of the benefits of a senior...
Got 1 minute left.
Some of the benefits of a senior development that some folks might not understand is that it's between 30 and 40% less traffic is generated. So our development of 82 lots is really the equivalent of what 49 traditional lots would be. And so, with that, here's a picture of our amenity. We've done some proposed conditions. Happy to go through with you all if you have questions. And then we have super attractive architecture planned here with a ranch product. And just here are some images of it that we've submitted. And so I'm hoping that someone will ask me some questions about the conditions and we can go through them. And with that, happy to answer any citizens or y'all's questions or concerns.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Allison. All right, at this time, we'll open the floor up for public discussion. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this project? All right, seeing there is none, we'll open it up to those that may be against. With this, there'll be 10 minutes total for the speaking, so if we're going to have 2 or 3 people, about 3 minutes apiece, okay? Back in the first, your hand come up first. If you would, state your name and your address when you get to the podium, please.
My name's Terry Parsons. I live at 1102 Chandler Hawk Road, Loganville. I would like for the planning and zoning to be consistent with what the mayor and the majority of the city council did when they denied the zoning over at Twin Lakes. The graph the gentleman showed a minute ago of permits being down, that's just a sign that we're just about built out. Because if the city's depending on the permits for every connection, there's only about 3 or 4 large tracts of land left. And with Tuck Road coming on, that's about, 700 houses that we're going to be getting permits from? So I think the commission needs to be consistent with our zoning laws, and that the actions that the council took to stay consistent with our zoning laws, I think that's what this commission could do. Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right. Again, if you would, state your name and address.
I'm Tim Morris. I'm at 3292 Allen Circle. I'm not just speaking on behalf of myself. I'm speaking on behalf of several. I just got to be the lucky one to have to talk. So all those with me, if you would, raise your hand. You can raise your hand too if you want to. No, I'm joking. First of all, I want to compliment and thank the city for defining a limitation to the RM4 zoning, putting that half mile, 2640 feet from the city center. I think that's a good thing. Our argument is that RM4, it is a direct violation of 119-211 of that 2640 from the city center. Our argument is that if we're not opposed to growth, but we want consistent, as he just spoke about, this gentleman just spoke about, we want consistency, and when you look at the property around it, it is not RM4. It is CSO or R22. That's what we would prefer. So if you look at the screen there, you see the existing city limits like he showed on his slides. And then there's another property, I'm not going to get into that, that property would be completely encompassed by city and completely island that property owner there. I'm not going to speak on their behalf to that tonight. So we are asking the city to uphold the current 119-211, the 2640 feet, don't allow RM4 outside of that, and deny the rear entry garage, the variance for the rear entry garages. So another thing I want to point out, back in 2005, this is Terra. If you notice right there on that top right, you see where it says 100, do y'all see a screen? Y'all got screens? Okay. You see a 100-foot buffer. That was put in place to provide a buffer from the R22 CSO development to our area. When that further developed, there was an 80-foot buffer along that, and you can see the line on there. If, and here's another view of it, that's the zoning map, y'all's zoning map, and it shows that buffer there. Again, we reiterate, we do not want the RM4 zoning in this area, but should the city provide that, we absolutely ask that the city require a buffer that is consistent with these two buffers. And I see I have a typo there. It's 85, it should be 80. But we absolutely asked the city that you require a buffer if the RM4 zoning is permitted. And I don't think that would be exactly consistent with the previous development in Terra.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right, seeing that there is none, open it up to, go ahead,
And
Bobby.
Mr. Chairman, I would just like the record to reflect that this project has left a vacant spot so that there will not be an island as a result of this project.
Okay, yeah, you kind of took the words out of my mouth. I was going to mention that. Thank you. All right, I'll open it up to the commission. Anybody with the commission have questions for the applicant? Want to go ahead and rebuttal? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate, again, everyone's comments. If we could go to our presentation, I'm just going to put the site plan back up. Thank you. So it's difficult to see on this, but if someone could zoom in on this PDF, along the northern section where we are closest to Terra, we've actually created a 50-foot buffer against Terra's 80-foot buffer that is there. You can see we've pulled our lot lines away from the property line specifically to provide that buffer. Again, Terra's lots range from, and you know, it's a range, but there's lots as small as 8,700 square feet in Terra. We're proposing lots that are 5,500 square feet, so I would say that they are comparable. And the reason, again, for the RM4 zoning is that the next smallest zoning category currently in Loganville, we couldn't design Terra today because Loganville doesn't have that category. Would be 1,600 square feet. And as you guys know, the whole purpose of a senior development and a senior lot is for someone to downsize and have a low-maintenance lifestyle, not just with the steps, but they don't want a 16,000 square foot yard that they have to mow and maintain. And you can see that in your own senior developments in Loganville, where those lots are 5,200 square feet, which are actually smaller than what we're proposing today. And I think that was really it. If anyone has a specific question, I'm more than happy to answer them. You know, the fees, as we mentioned, I don't think that Tuck Farm is going to be built, certainly not as it's currently designed. I think you guys have already seen modified site plans come in and further requests for additional variances because the way that that plan was zoned, it cannot be built. And so again, I think that looking at the fees for Loganville and its inability to grow, that not only results in the lowering of the bond rating, which people may not care about, but there's a reason the city had to do an emergency 12% increase in its water and sewer fees this year. It's because they didn't have enough to serve their system, and it's continuing to age and get old and need further repairs. And without new development, those repairs, the money for those repairs is going to come from the citizens.
All right. Anything else? Okay. Linda?
So I'm hitting my button then. I just had a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
The two big brick houses that are sitting in that property area on the other side of the church, you know what I'm talking about?
On our subject property? Yes, ma'am.
Are they going to stay there? Are they going to, is that part of this?
No, our development,
does
any
it-
existing
or is it
structures on
condo?
our house, on our property would be demolished.
Okay, so they will be torn down.
Any houses that are on our current property
Okay, would be torn down. Okay.
would be torn
Okay.
down. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
Hang on just a second, folks. We'll get to y'all after we get finished with our round, okay? Thank you.
I'm actually talking about what she asked.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we'll get to that in just a minute, but thank you. Okay, thanks, Linda. Anybody else? Kathy?
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of traffic coming out of Terra, and now you want to put another 82 homes on Tig Knight, is there any plans for any type of entrance, exit onto 81, traffic light, decel lane, anything?
Again, 81 is off our property, so that would be considered a system improvement. We wouldn't have the ability to do anything there. We can improve where our right-of-way is, which is on Tig Knight. And again, as it relates to traffic, this is not us, it's not conjecture or anecdotal. These are facts that senior development produces between 30 and 40% less traffic. And what that equates to is with our 82 lots, it will have the same amount of traffic as what a 49 lot subdivision would have as traditional.
Okay. Anything else? Josh?
I know you mentioned, as far as fees and relation to the permitting and the revenue for the city. Have you also evaluated on the flip side what that may produce and the, value that you believe that brings to the city?
Yes, sir. You mean our development?
That's right.
That's correct, yeah. So obviously it will increase your property tax basis. So all those people will pay property taxes. So it would be a couple $100,000 a year in additional property taxes for the city, all of the tap fees, as I mentioned. And then it's also providing a place for your seniors to live. Right now, a new construction in Loganville doesn't exist at a senior-oriented development. And also, while we are paying our property taxes, we are not impacting the schools, which is a big part, that's one of the largest part of your property tax bill, is schools. So we're paying into that, yet we are not overcrowding the schools because we don't have children.
Okay. Anything else, Josh? All right. Anything else from anybody else on the commission?
I just want to ask a question about what that young lady talked about demolishing the houses in the area. She said our house is not going to be demolished. So how are you going to address that?
To address that, as I said, we're only tearing down the structures that are on our property. So she, as an adjacent property owner, her home is going to remain unchanged. It's not part of our development, and we're not claiming that it is.
Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let you come on up. If you would come up to the podium for just 1 second. Thanks. Could I get the aerial view put back up for the proposal?
Good afternoon. I'm sorry I get a little nervous talking in front of people. My name is Sandra Rangel, and I live on 3255 Tig Knight Road, which is the property right beside the 3215 Tig Knight Road. And it's the property that we were mentioning it was going to be on an island. I understand they're leaving the 50 foot in front to connect it to the next Walton County property. However, on the plat that they're proposing is not even leaving us 25 feet required on the code that they're proposing on. And also, he's mentioning the buffer, but the buffer that he's leaving is behind where it touches with Thara buffer. So my property, I don't know if, would you please show? It doesn't quite show because that's before the Tara's development.
Yeah. But this would be your house right here, correct?
Yes, it will be between the Cross Church and their development.
Okay.
Also, back then, we had a driveway easement, which they changed the address from 3235 Tig Knight Road, which that was the address that we have the easement with, to 0 Tig Knight Road. But they will have to change their entry because right now their entry of their 3215, it's part of our property, just a little part. So they will have to change their way of entry to their property as well.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
Ma'am, if you will, look at the map in the back right there. It will show you where that easement is, ma'am. Yeah, they didn't put the easement in the front. The easement's in the back to comply with state law.
Right, yeah, right there where you're in front of, that back red outlined area in the very back to the right. Oh, okay.
No, ma'am, I was talking about that is what keeps your property connected to the county, is the,
Yeah,
is,
she's just concerned about,
The 50-foot buffer, however you want to, how you call it, the 50-foot buffer between my property line to the next property, which is in Walton County, that we won't become an island. I totally understand that, but they're requesting, or the paperwork that they're putting on to ask for the code, under the code they're building for, is not even, they're not even leaving the 25 foot minimum, the minimum 25 foot. It says 5 feet. And from there, they have to think of the water, the retainer, because otherwise their water will come to our property. There's a lot of things that they need to put that in between, and 5 feet is not even the minimum of the code that they're requesting for. It's 25 feet, and on their, if they approve it on their plan, it's not even putting the 25 foot requested on the code they're applying for.
okay, awesome. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, all right. Give them, no rebuttal. Time's up. All right. Anything else from the commission? All right. All right. With nothing else, we will move into the vote on each case by case. We'll begin with case A25-01, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, requesting annexation of property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia 30052, map and parcel C04-70003 and map and parcel C04-70003A00, Walton County, Georgia, 26.883 plus or minus acres. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to deny annexation.
All right, we've got a motion to deny. Do I have a second? We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, so 3-1, we'll recommend denial. All right, second case, R25-015, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, filed an application to rezone 26.883 acres plus or minus located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, 30052, map and parcel 0470003 and map and parcel C04-70003A00, Walton County. Property owner is CTX Funding SPE LLC. The current zoning is A1. The requested zoning is RM4 with a proposed development for single-family detached residential neighborhood. Do I have a motion? Got a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Opposed? Same. All right, so that was 4-0. We'll recommend denial there. All right, case number 3, V25-013, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, request a major variance for the property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia, 30052. Map and parcel C04-7003 and map and parcel C04-70003A00, Walton County, Georgia. Present zoning is A1. The ordinance and section from which the relief is sought is zoning ordinance 119-221 sub B sub 2. Request for variance to allow single-family detached units in RM4 zoning on parcels more than 2,640 feet from the center line, Main Street and Covington Street. Do I have a motion?
Motion to deny.
All right, got a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, so that one's 4-0. All right, case V25-014, the Revive Land Group LLC, CO Mahaffey Pickens Tucker LLP, request a major variance for the property located at 3215 and 0 Tignite Road, Loganville, Georgia, 30052. map and parcel C04700003, and map and parcel C04700003A00, Walton County, Georgia. Present zoning is A1. Ordinance and section from which relief is sought is zoning ordinance 119-221 sub B, sub 2, sub E. Request for variance to allow front entry garages in RM4. Do I have a motion? Got a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, like? 4-0, recommend denial. All right, that concludes our business for tonight here. This is going to be our recommendation to the city council, and their next meeting will be July 7th here at 6:30, and at that time they'll have open for public input as well, and then the vote will be on the 10th, that following Thursday. We thank you for being here. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Anybody not? Didn't think so. Thank you again.